Welcome to Cornerstone Coaching. We're providing rich content to help build your business. On this episode, Scott Abbott shares on turning moments into momentum.
Well, thanks for getting under my skin, because I'm looking at that picture of me, and counterintuitive to a lot of people, I like to put on a little weight during the summertime. And as I was sitting over there, there's snow falling down on these guys. I think I like to keep my studio back at home at about 64 degrees, but I think it's about 48 degrees over there. But I'm looking at my picture going, that's my winter body. I literally always do put about 10 pounds on in the summer. I'm glad I did standing over there. I needed a little bit more warmth. Hello, everybody. James took me down a little memory lane there.
Yeah.
Who was here when I was blessed to see you all the first time? What was it, 16 months ago?
It's about 16 months ago.
Has anything happened interestingly in the world? And Pastor Bob, thank you, because I don't believe in coincidences.
Right.
But if I recall, when I was here before, you guys did us a tremendous favor. And if you remember, Alabama was already pretty much out of the title run.
No.
And you were all very gracious. And I asked you to do this little chant that said, who's yours? And you all did it. And look what you did. You brought us all the way to Notre Dame where we got our butts kicked. But back to Pastor Bob's story about Joseph and perseverance. I don't know if you know what happened the following year, but if memory serves correct, we went 16-0. Mm-hmm. And I gotta tell you, I was actually at the Rose Bowl game in person. Mm-hmm. And it was bittersweet.
It wasn't our favorite game, Scott.
It was bittersweet. But if you didn't notice, just seriously, I can't help but say it. You guys probably don't know this. The largest registered alumni association in the world of all schools is Indiana University.
Wow.
And that's why when you saw at the Rose Bowl and the Peach Bowl and even in Miami, the Rose Bowl, kid you not, was 92% Hoosiers.
Yeah.
You know, losing for 100 years, we had some pent-up energy.
They've been saving a
We're
long
going to talk a
time
little bit
for
about
that
that,
one.
but I'm very sincere. Thank you all for having me here. You know, I'm not a professional speaker, and I really actually, thanks to the architect, builder, custodian, by the way, and I have presents for everybody today. I call these personal commitment devices, and everybody's going to get a poker chip. It's $5 value. Cash it in with James later. But I will hand those out as part of what I call a commitment to each other. But I just wanted to start really and say thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Pastor Bob. Pastor Brian, I hope I can hear you sometime doing the motion. Depending on how it happens today, if I get invited back into town. But very genuinely, to James's credit, inside your, I think it's the BOS 101.
Yes, it's on here.
I kind of prefer to let people know what the heck it is I'm going to talk about, and maybe read along with me. So you all have a copy of what I'm going to talk about today. You do you. If you want to read along, if you want to just participate and listen, it's up to you. By the time I leave here in about 6 hours when I'm done with my speech. Thank you. It usually sounds funnier in my head before I say it out loud. But so if you guys are ready to rock and roll, we're going to get started here, okay? How's it sound? You guys good?
Yes.
All right. As humans, we do not drift into failure, and we do not stumble into success. We moment into both. And I'm so excited to share with you an example that's very near and dear to my heart. I think you might know by now I'm a big fan of Indiana University. I didn't do this just for you cats and kittens. I do this for everybody. I'm a big fan of IU. Have been for a long time. My kids went to school there. Blessed and honored to be an executive in residence. I was the entrepreneur in residence. I wish I went to school there, but I was a Golden Gopher, then a Blue Demon in Chicago. It's always interesting that a Jesuit school calls themselves Blue Demons, go figure. But kids went there, love IU, if you ever get a chance, Bloomington, it's a beautiful school. But a lot of people don't know, we were the losingest Division I football program over the last century. And so pretty special when you go from where they were to where they are now. So personally, and I know you may not feel the same way, but watching the Hoosiers go 16-0 and win a national championship was remarkable. Again, that's why I so like the story about Joseph today. It was so cool because there's such a correlation here. And again, that turnaround, as you know, didn't happen by accident. It happened the way most meaningful progress does, moment by moment, the big ones and the small ones. Coach Kirk Cinetti says it himself, progress over perfection, production over potential, and the belief that nothing is given, everything is earned. That level of steadfast dedication and accountability is built through the right system, reinforced by the team, upheld by exacting standards, sharpened in preparation, and ultimately proven and delivered in execution, with a clear expectation to win. And as you know now, the results speak. Google him. That's a joke, by the way, if you know about Kurt Cinetti. Indeed, us humans love celebrating results. But results don't just appear. They're built in the moments that come before them, through the decisions we make and the work that we do or don't do. In other words, we don't crash into failure or stumble into success. Both happen the same way, through good and bad moments. Let's talk about the bad moments first, because they happen to all of us. It's said that if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Bad things happen in business, work, and life, and those moments can knock you off track if you let them. The best performers know how to put things in perspective, reset fast, and get back on track to controlling what they can control. Drop the ball, pick it up. Break something, fix it. Lose focus, get it back. We all have highs and lows. The discipline is how we respond to both with humility and gratitude, and appreciate that adversity is often the path to progress. That choice determines whether the moment becomes a step back or a step forward. Think about it. You don't become an eternal failure because of setbacks or mistakes. And you don't become eternally successful because of wins and breakthroughs. And you won't get from here to there by sitting still and doing nothing. Your success is the result of moments, both seen and unseen. It's the goal you set out to achieve, but never put in the actual work to get it done. It's the habit you should start or stop, but you're too tired, busy, and distracted. It's the challenge or opportunity you avoid instead of taking ownership. Inevitably, life is going to test us. Obstacles and adversity are part of the journey. The question isn't whether they're going to come, it's what you'll do when they do. You can let them derail you, or you can use them to grow, adapt, and move forward. Because those moments compound over time, creating progress or regress. There really is no neutral. So when obstacles and adversity come your way, and yes, they will, choose to use them as a path to prosperity. Let me pause here and ask you all a question. What moment are you avoiding that could change everything? What moment are you avoiding that could change everything? That question matters, because the answer could make a big difference. And if we're all being candid, we already know what the answer is. But we have to slow down long enough to face it and do it. The tricky part is this: we don't usually recognize the important moments while we're in them. We recognize them later, when the results show up or they don't, and we ask, what happened? How did I get here? Every outcome we're proud of and every regret we carry traces back to a moment where we acted intentionally or not. Winners don't wait for moments, they create them and turn those moments into momentum. Here's the reality: we don't result into results, we moment into them. How we initiate, how we think and decide, how we manage ourselves, how we handle pressure, how we treat people, how we respond to opportunities, challenges, and mistakes. That's where leadership, management, teamwork, and accountability actually live. Not in what we say, but in what we consistently do. Especially when it's hard, inconvenient, or unappreciated. And when you step back and look at it, it allows you to see the bigger picture. Culture works the same way. Culture doesn't live in a value statement, an employee handbook, or the occasional inspirational speech. Culture lives and develops in what we exemplify, what we embrace, what we tolerate, what we reinforce, and ultimately in what we do. After all, without the doing, there is no done. Think of it as a beehive. Its purpose isn't to make honey. Its purpose is to build, protect, and sustain a strong colony. Honey is simply one of the natural outcomes of a healthy hive. Likewise, great culture isn't the goal in and of itself. It's the result of the right people doing the right work, the right way, for the right reasons. Here's the part we often miss and need to realize. Moments generate momentum. We lose momentum when we avoid doing the work, when we don't communicate, when we let standards slide, when we operate on autopilot, when we choose comfort over clarity. And we build momentum when we do the opposite, when we have the conversation, when we hold the standard, when we perform, when we do the small things consistently right. Here's another question worth sitting with. What standard have you allowed to slip, and what has it cost you? What standard have you allowed to slip, and what has it cost you? That question isn't comfortable, and you may not like the answer, but it's necessary. As an added bonus, how you handle questions like that is how you build real-world leadership. Because most leadership development leans heavily on just motivation. Get fired up, set big goals, push harder, be your best, dominate. Don't get me wrong, motivation is good, but it's inconsistent and it's unreliable. It spikes, it slips, it fades, and it often disappears the moment real pressure shows up. What actually drives consistently effective leadership is having the right purpose, systems, people, standards, and solutions. When all of those are defined and working together, you have the foundation to focus, align, and thrive. But we also need to perform the right way. And that starts with having the right agenda and plan to shape direction and intent. A plan is a map, built in advance and theoretical until executed. An agenda is a filter. It determines what gets attention, time, and energy. With the right agenda, priorities sharpen, noise fades, and the plan actually gets executed, turning progress from accidental into deliberate. As the expression goes, failing to plan is gracias. But even the right plan and the right agenda doesn't produce results. Execution does. Results come from owning the inputs that drive the outputs, the critical actions and activities taken moment by moment. When you focus on doing the right work, the right way, repeatedly and intentionally, you stop chasing results and you start producing them. To quote Isidore Sharp, the founder of Four Seasons, systemize the predictable to humanize the exceptional. One more time. Systemize the predictable to humanize the exceptional. In other words, success happens when the right operating procedures are consistently executed and we take ownership of the doing rather than being obsessed with the done. There's a concept called the arrival fallacy, and it's the belief that meaningfulness, fulfillment, and significance are waiting for us after the finish line. You know, if I could just get it done or get there, then I'll finally feel successful, happy, and complete. But it don't work that way. Those things aren't something we arrive at. They're something we continuously nurture through our relationships, our performance, and the contributions we make along the way. You've probably heard the expression, chop wood, carry water. Well, as the fable goes, it's a reminder that we often become so focused on what awaits us after we're done with the work that we overlook the experience of the work itself and the wisdom and the understanding that work creates. That's why I believe, and I hope you join me in the sentiment, that the journey is the destination. Not because finishing and results don't matter, they absolutely do. But the reward comes from the doing, the becoming, the serving, and the growing. While the destination is a major achievement, the journey is where we cultivate and experience meaningfulness, fulfillment, and significance. Which leads to one final question for you all. What impactful moment will you take ownership of in the next 30 days? What impactful moment will you take ownership of in the next 30 days? And don't choose the easy answer. Choose the honest and important one. Because the fact is, one decision, one action, one conversation can impact the direction of not only the next 30 days, but your life overall. The opportunity is there. The choice is yours, whether you're going to take it. It's said that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. And habits shape outcomes. Bad habits will cost you. Good habits will reward you. So let me give you 3 powerful habits that will help you initiate, achieve, and enjoy consistently great moments and momentum in your business, your work, and your life. Number 1, put tools and discipline over motivation. Motivation is good, but it's inconsistent. The right tools keep everyone aligned, productive, and confident in doing their jobs well. But tools alone aren't enough. Discipline is the elbow grease, the commitment to do the right work consistently, regardless of the situation or how you feel in the moment. When the right tools meet real discipline, your focus sharpens, trust grows, and performance becomes reliable. Number 2, build systems that empower great moments. Consistent productivity rarely happens by accident. It happens when the right systems are in place. With structure, you remove guesswork, and a healthy operating rhythm creates cohesion across teams. Good systems align people, priorities, process, and goals so that everyone understands what matters most. And when clarity and accountability are present, teams trust each other more and execute with confidence. And number 3, practice perpetual growth and lifelong learning. Motion prevents stagnation. When you keep learning and improving, you create momentum that fuels both growth and stability. So always be getting better, because growth builds resilience, sharpens judgment, and helps you see solutions where others only see problems. Leaders who keep learning stay adaptable, stay curious, and stay capable of turning challenges into opportunities. Those habits are the very foundation for generating impact and income. And who doesn't who doesn't adore a good combination of impact and income? That's where purpose, performance, profit, and people come together. And to make sure that happens, focus intentionally on the how. Yes, the why matters, and the what is absolutely essential. But the how is where it all comes together. The how ensures that work gets done the right way consistently, so that your why and your what become your reality. One of my favorite quotes is from Mother Teresa, and she said, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love." I believe that's exactly how momentum is created. Not through a few extraordinary moments, but through countless ordinary ones. Every time we choose to lead with integrity, manage with intention, work together as a team, and hold ourselves and others accountable, we have the power to make a difference in someone's life, starting with our own. Those choices may seem small in the moment, but they shape our character, strengthen our relationships, and ultimately determine our legacy. Indeed, the greatest moments often begin as the smallest ones. In closing, please remember this. We do not drift into failure. We do not stumble into success. We moment into both. So let's all pay attention to the moments, because our time is now. Not someday, it's now, right now. And if we all choose to embrace the essential concepts, tools, and disciplines that turn moments into momentum, and if we're intentional on how we humanize, systemize, and optimize our business, our work, and our life, then one day we'll all have the opportunity to look back and say, what a ride. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just moments, it wasn't just momentum, it was momentous. Mm. Roll Tide, go Hoosiers. And I love what James said, I'm going to take it from you earlier. I always used to say, do your best in business, work, and life. You ready? Do your best in business, faith, and life. Amen. Thank you all.